Recording. Yes, you are. That means, yes. We're once again live, aren't we? Nice and dandy. And a whole bloody hour early. Well, there's reason for that. But first and foremost, welcome. Welcome indeed to this madness once more. I will shortly explain why I'm as early as I am. There's, reason for that. First, I need to get some things. So I'm actually going to do something that I can somewhat control in a short fashion, which is rather pleasant at the moment. Now then, while this is loading, let me actually post nonsense everywhere. What nonsense. There is nonsense everywhere. Let's ignore it and instead focus on other things. Mainly getting into the game. Now, we've set this up. It should be working. If we can change over to here, because we're going to play some Planescape now. Mostly because I actually can play this very well for just an hour and then be done with it. That's not a saying that I actually want to do that, mind you. Technically, I would like to play it a bit longer, but well, point is, it's the height of the Christmas season, and that means that every store is basically overrun with people. Now we are a semi-post office, which means we are flowing quite literally in an ocean of package nonsense. Yeah, it is a lot. Well, all of that aside, it means I will have to deal with the 24th, which is tomorrow, by myself alone, because nobody else is available. And yeah, that's just there's just so much to do now, which means I will basically quite literally have to go to bed at like 9 p.m. so I can actually get up fucking early so I can actually get some shit done, which explains why we're playing Torment. Now, without much further ado, you might not remember from the last episode we picked up Fall from Grace, one of my most beloved little characters, but not just because she's a succubus that's not acting like a succubus, which is the irony just bites itself, but doesn't matter. We also picked up, good old Ignis, and well, I'm now going to talk to Mort a bit, then we're going to talk to, I think it's Salabash actually, and then we're going to start with the Fest Hall, I think is it's called, yeah, Civic Fest Hall, where is basically the next larger part where we are going to spend some time, with
Hey, what's eating you, Chief?
trade questioning. Now, first and foremost, Mortar. Mortar. Let me load this again, because something is not working like it is supposed to be.
Hey, what's eating you, Chief?
Haha, now it is, yeah. Research, you're a Mimir, right, Mortar? Yeah, mirror is a floating encyclopedia. You put information in it, you get information out. But, aren't Mimirs made of silvery metal? Oh, maybe some are, but I'm not. And there's stranger things on this plains than that, Chief. I don't think you're a Mimir, Mortar. What are you? Let's have the interrogation. What do you know about Mimirs anyway? Well, I know enough to think you're lying to me. First that bit about the missing line from my back saying not to trust you. Then this, what am I supposed to think? The little man makes a good point. He might be nameless, but he's not brainless. I mean, he hasn't checked yet, but I'm pretty sure there's a brain inside that head. Okay, I'm not a Mimir, but I know a lot of stuff, so I might as well be one. Well, that doesn't answer my question, so what are you then, little Morty? A floating skull who knows a lot. Well then, what about that Baaturian smell you have? What would you know about Baator smells like? Unless, hey, you've been talking about me with that Tana Lee, haven't you? What does she know? Well, she knows how to smell. Yes, obviously. But you obviously touched on something. That is a Baaturian smell, right? Well, yeah, but so I smell a little. Excuse me. Well, why do you smell like butter? Why do I have to basically drag all of the information out of you in small bits and pieces? I was in health for a while. Kind of a long while. Does that kind of grows on you? You were in health. What were you doing there? Free XP. See, well, there's this pillar of Vanos, the first layer of Bator. It's called the Pillar of Skulls. But it's more like the Pillar of Heads. To hear some bashers tell it, it's supposedly made of the heads of Burks, or the sages and scholars who used their knowing of this and knowing of that when they were alive to stretch the truth a little. So much they might have hurt killed someone by doing it. Well, when I died, I ended up there. Funny, huh? Really? Water goes silent for a moment. Yeah, you're right. It's not funny at all. You see, I think I knew a lot of things when I was alive. And maybe when I did know something, I didn't always tell the truth about it. I'm thinking that when I bent the truth once or twice, or thrice, might have led to someone getting penned in a dead book sooner than they should have. So, that was me, wasn't it? Mortar looks at you for a moment. Yeah, I can't say how I know it, Chief, but I think so. I think you were the one that got me sent here. Last week in the bundle, before the whole load snaps. Thing is, I can't remember what happened. I don't even remember being human or what my life was like before I woke up in the pit. Well, why did you forget, little Morty? That's pretty much the way things when you die. Good point, actually. I'm sure you're no stranger to her. You just forget. I wasn't a sterling member of the community when I was alive, but else, who is? Some people actually are. What a size. Just that I can't help it. Nothing's worse than being honest all the time. Except being sentenced to the hills. That sounds a lot worse than telling the truth. Yeah, alright. Again. Water clicks his teeth. The way he does it reminds you of someone drumming their fingers. I guess just all that good and evil and lying and cheating catches up with you. And when I got pinned in the dead books, it was my turn to pay the ferryman. Which begs the question, little Morty, so how did you escape the pillar?
Updated my journal.
Well, you helped me, Chief. When you showed up at the Pillar of Skulls, I pushed my way to the front. My obvious know-how and charm attracted your attention. You knew that I was the head that knew the most. I got a deal with you. No deal, you say. As Morty speaks, your vision seems to bleed into a fiery red, and you hear a howling. Yes, I do hear a fucking howling! Excuse me. A horrible screaming, tower of voices. Jittering, screeching, hammering, all of them begging, screaming to be freed. And Mortar's voice. Faint, almost lost in the horde. He sounds desperate. Right at the edge. Pathetically, tragically, lost. Echo. You, Skull, speak. Howling voices fall silent. You watch the tiny, red-lined skull, as cracked features cast in a hellish light. Turn its eyes up at you. Blood and ichor has streamed across its features, and its teeth chatter, as if cold. I can help you. I know what you seek. All these heads, all the knowing. Just please, I beg you, free me. Let me help you. I'll tell you anything. Everything. Echo. Will you, Spirit Skull? Where you will serve me until my end days. So here you will remain. I swear, just please, please free me. You watch as Morty sickeningly swallows his pride, almost a tangible thing. I beg you, let me help you, please. Very well, I shall bring you. Man, I've been a dick in my previous life, haven't I? Your vision slides, as if you are moving. The howling, screaming, cacophony begins again. A nightmarish horde of howls and catcalls, and taunts and insults. The feel of your hands sliding into the filthy quagmire of the pillar, biting of fangs, mandibles, and your hands locking around the tiny skull and ripping, tearing it from the pillar like an old scab. It is done. You look down at the bloody skull in your scarred hands, the eyes covered in ichor from the pillar. Its teeth chatter once, twice. Reminds you of a wailing newborn, helpless. The eyes, which made once were pathetic. I freed you, now you're alive, and your death is mine. Morty. Your vision swirls, the mists of the past drifting away, and water is still chattering on. We talked for a while, Chief, you and me, seeing whether the arrangement would work, and I think we both were really impressed with each other. So you invited me off the pillar, and I've kind of been with you ever since. What happened then? Well, I don't know. I'd lost most of Pillar's knowledge once I was out of it. That's a pretty obvious thing. I mean, how was I to know? I'd never been off the damn thing. Make you a pretty understanding about it. Yeah, sure, my previous incarnation was probably very, very understanding. So, you lost all of the knowledge you said you had. The vision swirls again, making you dizzy, and you feel your gut churn. You had a cracking, snapping of bone. Mortis howls, howling in pain, screaming for someone to stop killing him, and your hand lashing out. Again, and again, and... Damn you, Skull, you lied to me. I'll thrust you back in a damnable pillar and leave you to die there. There is the clitter of bone against what sounds like metal, a floor or a wall, and the skittering of teeth knocked free. You can hear Mortar howling like a beaten dog for you to Now that you're suffering on a pillar will be nothing to the torment that will make you suffer. Your vision swells, and Mortis cries up, fading into his shattering rhythm. Oh, here he is, I still have my uses, so I took up with you, and I've been with you ever since. What did I want from the pillar? And how long ago was it that I freed you? Mortar thinks for a moment. Well, as for how long, I don't know the exact count, Chief. Ages, I suppose. I've done all I could to help you each time, but Mortar sighs. It's not easy, and as for what you wanted at the pillar, I don't know. Once you pried me off, I couldn't remember. Mortar, why didn't you say something when we were at the mortuary? It's actually a good question, isn't it? And Mortar suddenly becomes defensive, because I never know who are you going to be. Some of your incarnations have been stark, raving mad. Okay. One time you woke obsessed with the idea that I was your skull, chased me around the spire, tried to shatter and devour me. Luckily, you were crushed by a passing cart in the street. Another good and lawful, you tried to thrust me back into the pillar, because it's where I belonged. Mortar smirks, and that's why. Besides, no harm's ever come out of you not knowing. So you stayed with me all this time? Yes, Chief. I said I would. Mortar always keeps his promises, he pauses. Well, most of them. Hee. There was this one chit in Arrowbear who... let's not go there, shall we? You suddenly realize that Mortar's tone has changed. Past the joke, you realize he's trying to hide something. Something about why he's with you. Mortar, seriously, why are you still traveling with me? Chief, I said it because I promised, alright? He looks irritated. What else could it be? I don't know. You didn't need to stick around after I freed you. Oh, of course not, Chief, but Suddenly his tone of voice strikes a chord in you. And you know why he's in mind with you all this time. You feel guilty because you lead me to my death so long ago, isn't it? And you've been suffering ever since. Oh, come on, Chief. Me? Feel guilty? I'm Mortar. No, I actually think that's it. When I came to free you from the fate you deserved, you couldn't help but try and help me. And when you could have left after I freed you, you remained. Because you felt indebted. Mortar is silent for a moment, looking at you. Maybe. You know what's funny? First I don't know what the feeling was. Kind of slowly eats you, you know? I mean, at first I thought it was the side effect of some enchantment that bound me to you. But after a couple hundred years, I realized it was more than that. Something deeper. I just felt drawn, connected to you, somehow. Maybe it's all your suffering, Chief, your torment, I don't know. Maybe I felt, I don't know, responsible. Whatever it is I did. Or something I did brought you to the state. Thing is, I don't think me, or whoever I was, really ever had to see the consequences of all the lying and cheating I'd done. And when I saw you for the first time when I was trapped on the pillar, somehow I knew. You were the one I betrayed. Once, long ago. That's all I know. I see. Well, thanks for coming clean, Water. At least now we know what we have to deal with.
Updated my journal.
And we get a lot of experience, and Water gets improved, like bam, strength +4, dexterity +2, constitution +2. Mortal has become powerful. Nah, don't thank me, Mortar's eyes. To your surprise, his voice seems stronger somehow, more confident. Some of the cracks and fractures in his skull have vanished, as if healed. Nah, the thanks is all to you. I feel like I just had a plane moved off my shoulders, so to speak.
I feel stronger.
Damn, everybody gets stronger. Ever more stronger. Now, let's talk to Zilbesh the Onyx. Because I think he's one of those curse men. This tall, thin man, dressed in heavy crimson robes, has sharp, pinched features. He bows regally as you approach him. I'm Salabesh, oft called Salabesh the Onyx. Future mage tutor for the Civic Festival. You listen to me, I take it? No, just some questions. About what? Not the war and the like, I hope. Plenty of more common folk could answer such questions. I'd just as soon direct you to one of them. Oh, why are you called the Onyx? A long tale, which I'll shorten to save my breath. In my youth I was once called Salabesh the Golden. I was said to have a heart of gold. Small, hard and yellow. Interesting. Well, a cursed fool who started that, so that he could only speak from his arse and defecate through his mouth. The Onyx appellation, along the same lines as the Golden, though admittedly somewhat less clever, soon followed. In any case, I'm a much kinder fellow now, far less prone to line curses and the like. I'm not certain I deserve the name any longer. So, you cursed him so that what? Oh, yes, you heard right. Salabesh sighs happily and chuckles to himself. That sort of thing is why I'm known as the Master of Curses, you know. Master of Curses, you say? Also, what do you mean by future mage tutor at the festival?
My journal.
It's a prestigious position to be the official tutor in one of the festival's training chambers. My intention to one day take the position of mage's tutor. That is currently in the possession of Lady Sorncombe. Only got someone proof that I be a superior tutor. So, do you know of a cursed man called Requint?
Updated my journal.
Reek. Salabesh's eyebrows suddenly dart up. Oh yes, Jumble Murdersense cursed that man, if I recall correctly. Why, seeking to get this curse undone? Good luck, only Jumble can do that, you know. So where would I find this Jumble Murdersense? Within the Civic Festival, I suppose. A short, portly fellow. A leering smile. Never speaks, so you'll be hard-pressed to get anything out of him. I see. Now then, into the festival we shall go. Okay, so first let's talk to Jerome, who wanted to actually see us. Beep 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 beep. Stern-looking old woman seems to be looking for someone. Eyes fix upon your face as you approach her. You there, might I have a word with you? Yes, you're Jolmy, correct? I spoke to your messenger.
Updated my journal.
I'm pleased to meet you then. She gives you a slight bow. I would make you a somewhat unusual proposal, though you must admit that you're an unusual man. I'll give you 1,000 copper comets. For permission to kill you. Are you open to discussion on the matter? But why? Jeremy doesn't bat an eyelash. But why not? I thought it might be an interesting experience, paying someone for the privilege of murdering them. When I first heard rumors of your existence, how could I resist? So, what is your answer? Shall we discuss the matter in greater detail? Well, sure, let's work out the details then. For a short discussion, it comes down to the following terms. Jeremy will pay you 2,000 copper gems. Nice. In return, you will allow her to drive her dagger into your heart. She will wait for you to awaken, at which point she will give you the coin. You agree to this then? Yes, sure, let's do this. Your face over in moments. She's already cleaned her blade and put it away by the time you've recovered. After picking yourself up off the festival floor, Jeremy hands you several rows of copper coins while you rub your aging chest. Somewhat disappointing, I must admit. Ah well, coin well spent nonetheless. Farewell. Yes, farewell indeed.
My journal.
I mean, we got a nice bit out of this. But the next one we're looking for is actually, yeah, this one. There he is. Don't run away, Jumble Murder Sense. His short, balding man's orange tunic, a rather sizable gut, give him the look of a walking pumpkin. He's absent-mindedly patting his large paunch, a slow rhythm, as if it were a drum. The man's odd, crooked smile, and a strange gleam in his eyes. Him look a bit mad. Greetings. The man gives an exaggerated, flourishing bow. Presents a small card which reads only Jimble Murder Sense. Sarcastic sorcerer extraordinaire. He then snatches the card from your grasp and proceeds to eat it, grinning wildly all the while. Someone assign him is one money shot. Indeed. Well, I'd like you to move frequency, because let's go for a direct approach. General pretends not to hear you, instead belching loudly and resuming his belly drumming, his eyes wandering around the festival. Honestly, in this case, let's actually be very, very, very direct. Remove his curse, Jumble, before I'm forced to hurt you. Jumble raises one eyebrow and takes a step back. He opens his mouth and abruptly, and through his lips or throat don't move, shaping the words or sounds, a torrent of incomprehensible babbling begins to pour forth. What the?
Updated my journal.
Jumble shuts his mouth and the babbling ceases. He peers at you through narrowed eyes, a self-satisfied smile on his pudgy face. Suddenly, you hiccup, and hiccup, and hiccup, and hiccup again. Jumble Murder Sense. And he turns his head, waves you away. Oh, looks like you just got a curse thrown at you. That is not a good thing. Oh well. What have you done to me? I bet someone can lose this quest. I'm cursed. We have eternal hiccups. Good thing we already know a master of cursing. You see him again, Selbish Dionix. Yes, questions again, master of Dionix. You're a master of curses, perhaps you could help me? Help you? Selbish, yes, doubtful. Or you can respond to science, shaking his head. Well, perhaps I could, what troubles you then? Well, Jumble Murder Sense cursed me. Jumble Murder Sense? Ha, that sputtering mooncalf would never best me. Oh, the battles we used to have, though, Selbish rounds. But I'm past all that now. No longer my sort of thing, you see. Really don't know what I could do for you, after all. It's his curse. Not the sort you'd find on an item or some such. Now that you could remove with simple magics, he'll have to remove it, and willingly. Or could you teach me a curse then that I could use on him? Well, I don't normally do this, and I keep my curses to myself, you know. And besides, even a single curse would take on a long, long while to learn. What time then I'd care to spend on you? Perhaps you're just worried your curses aren't good enough to best him anymore. What? All ridiculous. Now look here, you knuckle-dragging sick of scars. Selbish Dionix is the master of curses, and there's no other. Why, I could give you but a single phrase that would render the Nicomponscuring fully impotent. First, your lips look skeptical. That's it, you've made me do it. Selbish utters a short string of impossible syllables, words of power. She notes mentally for later use against Jumble. There. See what that does to him. Tell me Selbish Dionix isn't the master of curses then. Oh, thanks, Selbish. I'll do that.
Updated my journal.
Idiot.
Alright.
Now, back to that asshole. Where are you, little murder sense? Jumble frowns at your appearance, spiting stump in your direction and waving you away. Well then, let's throw the curse Selbish taught me at him. He stares at you with a somewhat skeptical expression as you speak the arcane syllabi of Selbish curse. After a moment of awkward silence, the Sarcastic mage notes that nothing seems to have happened, and an evil grin spreads across his face. Continue. He opens his mouth to retaliate with another curse of his own, only to realize he has no voice. Selbish's curse has removed Jumble's ability to speak, thereby destroying the Sarcastic's ability to curse others. clutches at his throat, panic welling up in his eyes. Oh, such sad, much mad. Oh. Looks like the tables have turned, Jumble. What do you think will happen when anyone you've ever cursed finds out you can't speak or curse anymore? Jumble drops to his knees, a pleading expression in his eyes. You look ready to burst into tears. Will you remove the curse you placed on me? Been able to curse another who didn't mean your harm. He replaces his hands over his heart and nods vigorously. Very well, I remove the curse then.
Updated my journal.
He sighs with relief as you remove Salabesh's curse from him. He in turn removes his own. The Jacobs finally stop. God bless it. Then most humbly, he casts aside to the floor. I'd like you to actually take your curse of regret as well.
Updated my journal.
Thanks. Finally. Jesus Christ. Guess we're gonna go back and talk to Requid now. He should be cured.
I'm gone.
Not that low. Where is it? There's it. There's the gate. And after that, I guess we could actually join the Sensates, I think. Yes. Language. This is the right one, isn't it? Yep, this is indeed the right one. This is where Requid is sitting around going like whoop, 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 whoop. Hello, Requid. You see, Requid, his eyes have reverted to their normal size. He is no longer assailed by the twitching spasm that you noted before. He's smiling, and he looks considerably cleaner than before. Greetings, Requid. I have some questions for you. He looks at you, amazed. It stopped. It all stopped. Just like that. Snaps his fingers, and looks down at himself. Powers above fire. Feel clean again. Good to hear it. Lemel didn't want to remove the curse, but I got it out of him. Thank you, sir. He looks flustered. I have nothing to pay you with, but you are in my good graces. Shrugs, or whatever that is worth. He frowns and stands straight. Will tell the story of your kindness to all who will listen. Actually, if any stories you haven't told me already, could be payment. Of course. No, I've had enough of telling tales for a while. Do you have something I could write them in? Have a journal.
My journal.
Thanks. Would never use that name again. I, among others, would be thankful. Very well. What should I call you? My name is. He suddenly catches himself and smiles. No, perhaps I shall keep that to myself this time. He nods respectfully too. Thank you again, good sir. Fare thee well. That means we have one little quest done. Jesus Christ. Suddenly my poor little thing is absolutely chock full.
Right. We need to set up Kip now.
Back to the clerk's ward. Okay, with that out of the way. Yeah, back to the restaurant. Let's see if we can't join up with the Hello, Splinter. This starry man's golden skin sparkled slightly, almost as if it were metallic. Whether it's his actual flesh, or merely painted on, you cannot tell. He regards you coolly as you approach, giving a respectful bow as you draw near. Welcome to the Civic Festival, traveler. We are Splinter, Dormant to the Festival, and Priest King of Ur. How may we help you, despite his humble offer trade? His voice is powerful and commanding. A deep and rumbling sound resonates throughout the chamber. So how can you help me? We do many things in this fun hall, traveler. We answer questions guests might have regarding it or its inhabitants. We direct both visitors and members of the Society of Sensation alike, in the sensoriums or lecture halls. We also accept new members into the society. Lastly, it is through us that purchases from the society's walls are made. Spells, items, and such. So, how can I buy something from these sensate vaults? Must be a member of the society. Might I become a sensate then? In order to join the Society of Sensation, one must be willing and prepared to share their own experiences. 5 are required, 1 from each of the senses. Alternatively, one may contribute a single experience that has strong elements from all 5 senses. These must be the new sensations, improvements upon our current stock. Should we find them acceptable, they will be placed into sensory stones, and you, when you become a sensate, will be taught the sensory touch. It will allow you to draw others' wounds onto yourself, being then by accepting their suffering. Well, I'm already a member of the Dustman, but they will not forgive you. There shall be no going back. Okay, we need to think about this. Well, I'm ready to join the Society of Sensation. I feel no more loyalty toward the Dustman. First, what smell or experience involving it would you offer us? Actually, I'd rather contribute 1 experience that involves all 5 senses. I woke up not knowing where I was, on a cold, blood-slicked iron slab in the bowels of the mortuary. A place where only the dustmen or the corpses in their care have seen. Go on. My entire body reeked of an embalming fluid, but even the smell of that was not enough to match the coppery scent of gore around me. Dozens of bodies lie on countless bloody slabs, like the one I rose from. All in the process of being gutted, flayed, the like, by nightmarish clockwork devices, for reasons unknown. The only sound were the squeals of labored metal, the unsteady threat of undead workers. They pushed the slabs about the mortuary on rusted iron tracks. You know, a disturbing experience. I even left out the part about the chattering skull that flew at me as soon as I was upright. But it suffice, Splinter. Yes, we shall go to an empty stone now to record your experience. Or shall then be granted access to those privileges allowed only to members of the Society of Sensation, as well as taught the sensory touch. Accompany him to record your experience and learn the sensory touch. Right, I had some questions. What actually would be an interesting question? Oh, is there anything you might know about Ravel Pilwell? I would recommend that you speak to a wizard by the name of Quill about Ravel. Quill is always someone in the festival, most often in the private sensorium. That's good.
All right.
Oh, Murder in the Headless. I think you have a side quest of memory serves. Here there's something very wrong with this man. The way he lurches about, bumping into things, staring off blankly into space. As you approach him, you at least realize his plight. He's headless. The thing on his shoulders is merely a skillfully carved wooden prosthesis, a false head. Greetings? Headless body stops fumbling for a moment and pauses. Let's begin to reach out. I try to read exactly where you are. Let it touch you. After a moment, its finger brushes your forearm, and touches your arm, and follows us up to the shoulder, then your head. As it feels your face and head, its hand brushes your neck, as if it were checking for something. Then it grabs your hand and shakes it vigorously in greeting. You notice that its skin is cold and slightly clammy. Can you understand me? The figure makes a series of hand motions and waits for a response. It seems like it's asking a question. What? I don't understand. The body taps its foot for a moment, scratching at the chin of its prosthetic head. Suddenly, it raises a finger as if struck by an idea. It points at you, and at the eyes of its wooden head, and at you again. Then indicates its wooden head with both hands, shrugs and points at you. Nope, I can't say I have seen your head anywhere. The body shrugs, slumps a bit, and turns the ample off. Looks like a job for us, doesn't it? Where actually was it? I think at the curiosity shop. That's not good.
All right.
This thing will not burn. Dagger's not working in this thing. But this thing will not burn.
Okay, so we're getting now accosted by shadows. That is indeed the definition of not good. It means things are getting More dangerous. Indeed. Now then, I think somewhere around here we should be able to find the... what's he called? Basically a special thug. Bam, 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 bam. Where might you be? There he is. The thug boss. This young but well-muzzled thug, while certainly well-armed and large enough to be dangerous, seems awfully clean for a typical street thug. He's carrying a massive axe in one hand and a steel box in the other. Near him, he bursts up and scolds at you. What are you looking at, sod? Take off before I scrag you. Scrag? What in the 9 planes of butter are you talking about, you idiot? Scrag snagged, nipped and yanked by the hardheads. Clueless, Edelkurt brag. Let's take us a dana, but says nothing. You do seem a little well-groomed for a fuck. Stop shaking the bone box. Leatherhead, this is my territory, and you'll be leaving quickly if you don't want the bloods to tear apart. The Snickers shaking it. Rattly sword, rattling a bone box. It is. So like to see how it last dropped smack in the middle of the hive, being as ye are. And turns to you. Come on, let's be off. No use wasting our time over this waste the bishop would be. Face flutters angrily as he gnashes his teeth in frustration. That's it. You've Pike asked for it. Get him, Bludge! Fight.
What's up?
I'm in a somewhat uncomfortable position, honestly.
I'm hurt.
The question is, can I even run away? Yes, I can.
Yes. May my faith lend me strength.
Done.
Yeah.
How may I help? Ignis hears you.
All right.
Damn it.
No, I didn't.
All right.
I'm in the latter practice, it seems.
Huh?
Phew. It was a bit dangerous. Just the smallest bit dangerous.
Right. You need to stay off Kip now.
Da di da di da di da. Still we survive. And that means we can get the steel box. Also some copper stuff. Give it to mortar so we can sell it. Give it to mortar so we can sell it. Roll of blade needs. Copy the spell. Can't do that anymore. This sturdy steel box has a thick leather handle on the top. There's no apparent way to open the thing. It appears to be welded shut. A number of very narrow slits along one side, though you can't quite see into the box through them. Sickly sweet, rotting smell wafts out from the slits. Well, let's talk to it. As you examine the container more closely, it shifts slightly in your hands. Something's moved inside it. There's a man's voice from within. Oh there, someone there by chance? My name's Merwin. Anyone? Hail! Yes, greetings. Bang at the powers. Have you seen my body, perchance? It's hard to miss him. Stumbles about with a silly wooden head on his shoulders. Must have worn his feet down, so stops looking for me by now. I actually have, in the Civic Festival. A good fortune then. But I persuade you to return me to him, good sir.
Updated
Yes,
my
sure.
journal.
Sure, yes. Bennett, I think you're kindly then, sir. If you don't mind now, we're out of speaking in verse until I'm with my body again. I guess I can understand where you're coming from. Let's get you back. Let's get you back then. Bonk. The bearded man is still lurching about, bumping into walls, pillars and the like. His false wooden head rocks precariously on his shoulders as he shambles to and fro. This must be my drunk body. His voice suddenly echoes from within the steel box. Oh, there it is. That's my body. Stay there, old chum. Over here. Got the conversation it is. Body shovels toward you, reaching out towards the steel box containing Merkin's head. Well, allow my drunk body to take his head.
Updated my journal.
Ah, much better. Thank you, good sir. I imagine my body here was getting a bit restless without me. Body hugs the steel box tightly. Yes, I missed you too. Body tucks the case under its arm and bows to you. As for you, good sir, certainly deserves some sort of reward for your trouble. Let's see what I've got now. The body fumbles about in his pockets and, finding nothing there, in its tunic, finally it presents you with several handfuls of copper coins. Thanks. I had some questions. How did you end up the way you are? I'm not sure really. The body set me down in one of the lecture halls. The next thing I knew, someone had absconded with me. The next thing I was being picked up by you. No, but what I mean was, how did you lose your head? Body stiffens visibly. Oh, we don't like to talk about it. Quite terrible, really. What's past is past. No need to dredge it up. Of course, I am in the box because my head's not quite as presentable as my body, if you get my meaning. Yes. I do.
Lend me strength.
Now then. Quite a few other named characters here. Oh yeah, there's Quasi. Actually, I think it's rather fun to play with him. This is a life-sized granite statue of a gentleman standing with his arms at his sides, eyes closed. It is of excellent craftsmanship, exquisitely detailed, and incredibly lifelike. So much so, in fact, that you find yourself wondering if it's really a statue at all. Greetings? Statue makes no response. Chief, you've seen statues before, right? Not that they don't talk or anything. But that it is, Mortar. You're a floating token skull who's denying the possibility of a living statue. Well, oh, there was. That I do, Mortar. I'll just touch him. You touch the statue and find that, while the clothes that adorn it are of grey cloth rather than rock, the skin is as cool and hard as granite. Why would someone cloth a statue? Maybe it's a little too anatomically correct, Chief. That was a rhetorical question, Mortar. Sure was. I knew that. Strike it. Bam! As you make to strike the statue, its eyes flash open, and it catches your fist in an iron hand grip. Narrowing its cold grey eyes, it speaks with a voice like two boulders grinding together. Why would you strike? We say... Well, forgive me, I only really meant to see if you know, were a statue. You're not slowly throwing it. You're forgiven. One feels you're lacking patience. I mean, some questions. Hello? My questions? Wait for a response. On waiting. Wait quietly for a few more moments. His eyes opens. He gazes at you with cold grey eyes. He speaks ponderously, with a voice like two boulders. Your patience is noted. We say, we'll speak with you now. Mortar rolls his eyes and makes a gagging noise. His powers, no, not another Berg that talks like this. Oh boy. So, I have a question about you. What is it actually you were meditating? That's actually a good question to start off. So deeply. The way of stone. That's the statue. Okay, what is the way of stone? Kusei notes. A philosophy, a method of combat with which Kusei seeks to achieve invulnerability. Invulnerability. You'd be unbeatable in combat. Yes. Now the way is not yet perfect. Kusei will make it so one day. Kusei knows this. Well, can you tell me what you've discovered so far? One has asked Kusei to share his knowledge of the way. Kusei shall do this now. You can speak it like slowly and carefully. Listen and learn the way of the stone.
Updated my journal.
But also of listening to many questions. You come to understand it. What little of ways the stone can teach you. In combat, you will use it to resist and deflect your enemy's blows, improving your armor class. Diddle-dum-da-dum-dum. Diddle-dum-dum. So that's me ask you more questions about you. So what do you actually do here? You train others in the art. Ah, can you train me? He looks up and down, making a deep rumbling noise. Slowly he holds up his hands and breaks off one of his fingernails with a sharp crack. As I would see you break this stone. Break it. Yeah, with some effort, you snap the shard of rock in two, takes the stones from you, and places them in his mouth, chewing them to dust a bit. Hi, crackly count. Psy finds you physically suitable. Psy would now ask, why do you seek training? Well, to defend myself. No need for melee then. What do you mean? Because I means to say that there are many ways to do these things. One may steal an opponent's weapon, leaving him defenseless. But that battle must still be fought. To rely on theft is a mistake. After a time he nods. One may hide. One cannot be seen, one cannot be attacked. One is invulnerable. But no thief has mastered stealth to such a degree, and some foes can't be hidden from. Your scent or very swords will give you away. But wait, he nods. Mighty spells can smite many foes, more quickly than any blade. Mages are like a flask of flaming oil. Powerful, but once spent, nothing. They're physically deficient. Their spells merely crutches against this deficiency. Once sorcery is spent, the core of combat still remains. She smiles lightly, making a deep rumbling sound. Throat. Psy finds you fit to teach. Meet Kusai, the training chambers.
Updated
There,
my journal.
shortly. And he's gone. Ah. Right, I kinda remember. I was thinking about it for a second, but I think there are more trainers. Basically, there are 3 trainers for the hall. You kinda have to get them all. One is actually by the Bureau of memory, so close to it at least. Where art you, little one?
Right. We need to set up Kip now.
Where are you? Where? Ah, there he is. Relly Rathlock. This narrow-eyed, sharp-faced man is scanning his surroundings with a look of vague disinterest, pausing occasionally to look down and pick at his fingernails. Despite being clothed in silk and velvet finery, he manages to look unsavory and more than a little dangerous. Greetings! The man looks your way. His eyes are dark slits, like narrow stab wounds beneath his brow. His voice is low and gruff, despite his slender build. Pike off. Not yet, I'd had some questions. You think I wondered what looking for strangers to spill the ark for? Or pike off? Why are you here then? To be surely with passerby. He stands quietly for a moment and breaks a crooked smile. That's good, Dad. Considers you for a moment. I'm a tutor at the Civic Festival. Name's Havelock. Eli Havelock. As a veteran scout, I teach the art of subterfuge. You mean thievery. Slip curls up in a disgusted sneer. Thieves and thievery as always. 5 tours has been as a reconnaissance operative in the War of Lies. Scout is my title. Scout. Teacher of stealth and spycraft, not common thievery. My apologies. And no offense, could you train me? He frowns only. I don't know. I've had enough of teaching petty pickpocks and curious sensates for the time being. Most of himself remembers. Not sure why I agreed to do it in the first place. Perhaps because by teaching others you make them aware of your own skill? Question mark? At the same time, you defend the nobility of your skills by assuming that you're no common thief, but a scout and a spy, a master of subterfuge. Leonard's mulling over what you've said. Aye, there's no denying it. It's sort of sorry, though, when you look at it that way. Oh, I don't think so. Those of your trade are often misunderstood. Thrust unfairly into the same category as footpads and brigands. There's nothing wrong with dispelling false notions. Right again you are. Gives you a friendly punch to your shoulder. Thanks, Blood. He suddenly looks off into the distance. Well, enough wasting time out here. I'm heading back into the fest hall. Still want to train? That's where you'll find me. Perhaps. Perhaps indeed. Now then, back into the fest hall again. Give me a second. Now then, let's see if we can find something. Laborious. The thieves. The mages in training. Where's the
Updated my
trading?
journal.
I do not know where Lady Schorncumble has gone. I would suggest you try the Sensoriums. She spends much of her time there, the Lord was frowning. Perhaps too much time. Sensoriums, eh? Splinter. We already did this. Basically, this serves to teach you where Lady... well, I already forgot her name is, which is a pain in the ass, but you know.
Right. We need to set up
Actually,
camp now.
yes, I remember now. There's that guy. Yes, this one. Because we should actually squat. Hunched old man still has the broad shoulders and scarred calloused hands of a walker or warrior. An aura of very despair seems to hang about him. He appears to be giving a lecture for the moment. Stay. Right now, listen up. This is a seminar on the war. If you're eager to listen about the blood war, take root. If you're not, you're in the wrong all. I'd best be your soft, comfort-loving Sicilian limbus stamps out of here. Blood war. More boring than listening to a governor recite laws. Let's find some young sensates who need to be indoctrinated in the ways of passion. He waggles eyebrows in anticipation. I want to hear this. The man suddenly throws a dark eye over the audience as if looking for something. Professor, if you're Tanari or Batezo, just galley-it's out the door. I'm not letting you on and bastards bend an ear to this and listen to your barmy arguments. Keep listening. There's no discussion on who's right. Behind you, you hear the sounds of something large leaving the lecture hall. just tells the blood from the human point of view, not promoting one side or another, because they both take a different way. We could come sober. So what's left of you wanting to listen to some blood stories? Tales about the war. Yeah, no horror of it all, no doubt. The floating fortresses, wove and weaved, the human skins, the plains wide battlegrounds, the blood war before on. Where's his yellow teeth? Tales of fiends, looking fangs with other fiends. Grass, snarl, Vishnal's fades, and he looks suddenly bored. Keep listening. Well, let me peel back your lids and crack your bone boxes. There's all a seeming grip of balmy nonsense to be dwelling on that forged tongue. Spits in derision, rolling his eyes wildly. I tell you this though, you can't imagine the scale the blood was fought on. Nothing you've seen, yet participated in. Nothing compares. Time, numbers, or legions, sheer bloodshed, nothing compares, Burks. If I try and imagine it, forget it. My advice? Simple. Stay away from the big bloody mess altogether. The only thing you need to know is this. Fiends are killing fiends. Batizu are slaughtering Tanari. Tanari are butchering Batizu. Right now. He spits again. Neither is winning. Don't think you even can win, because the statement is state of eternity. Thank the powers. That's it, he shrugs. That's it. I'll be answering any questions you got for me now. Ask a question. What's your question, Cutter? That's a good question. What can we do with this? Actually a good question. How does one survive the blood war? And now he survived the blood war. 3 things, Cutter. He holds up a main hand with 22 fingers. Go on. First off, you stay the pike out of it. Secondly, keep yourself the picking held sort of it. Lastly, you stay the bloody picking sod pike out of it. Go on. Any part of the wall rolls your way, let your imagination give your bum a kick and run as far and fast as you can. If you can run, then lies really still and pray this by you. Pause for a moment. Except there's no place that touch it, there's almost no way you can run. Way away from me. There's nowhere to run, then why aren't there fiends fighting in situ? I know, Cutter, look. They fought here a few times. Sometimes we get a little spillover from the blood war. The Lady of Pain, bless her steel-ridden heart, puts up the fights. Some of the time he's near, there have been times, some horrifying, the rizzle on your service so sudden scared times. That's a word. When they're smashed and burned and clawed the way through whole sudden city blocks in Sigil, before she decided to clean house. He clucks his tongue and winks cynically, so she ain't always as keen on stopping the blood war as it might seem, see? So why not do he just take Sigil? He laughs, but it turns into a sputtering cough. Don't get me wrong now, both the Danari and the Batazo want Sigil fierce. This is the most precious sticking ground in the Pike multiverse. The cages in the City of Doors connects everywhere. Can't ignore it, and if you're serving in the Blood War and wanna win, you gotta have it. The mail calls again. It's just the fiends aren't going to get it while the lady's in charge. Just all. She's tough as nails, the blades cut you deeper than any fiend's fang. That nuts on the fiend's stems like you wouldn't believe. One quiet lady, ends tucked in her sleeves, holding back the blood wall by herself. She laughs bitterly. I don't find it hard to believe that woman can stop the blood war. No surprise. Fiends are still allowed in Sigil. Oh, damnably certain. They can't brawl in the streets too much. So as neutral ground, Sigil allows them to rattle the bone boxes without trying to murder each other. But they'll chat it up with each other over here. Please don't stay that way for long, though. Also, just cause they can't bite you, yeah? Excuse me. In the streets don't mean spies, recruitment, and black saving don't go on here. They fight battles of lies and words, Burke. Sometimes just all the bluster and there's safe houses about too. Places where they can cool their talents before the next skirmish. They like to recruit here too, looking for boys fresh off the plains. They'll greed in their arts, and they can make part of a glorious army. Perhaps they recruited you once, Cutter? You look like you've tasted the bar. Perhaps. The war leaves a scar on you, Cutter. Yet now you never want to go back. Temples begin to throw painfully as you consider the men's words. A memory begins to surface. Try to recall the memory. Lecture hall begins to fade from view, as terrible visions begin to seep up from the base of your mind. Visions of a place where seasons are like nothing you've ever felt or heard or tried to shut out. A place where prayers go unheard, falling like stones to the earth. Vainly colored lightning flashes across things that were once sky, now boiled beneath your feet and scream when you brush against them. You run at the head of a large band of men, passing through dark canyons, where the walls quiver moistly, beat like a heart, wearing only your own blood as clothing. Last you stand in a place where the ashen grey terrain slithers like a mass of snakes, curling around your ankles and whispering your evil to the earth. You march endlessly, silently, through this colorless land. Fatigue seems to live, hunt you like a shade over the wastes, whipping you with despair. In time, you and the ragged man who follow you come upon a hag sitting upon a mouth of gigantic rivering lava, poking at one of the slime-covered things with a broken talon. You indicate for one of the men to run forward and speak with her. X-rating voice carries to your ears. "Speak with him," she said. They cackled. Eyes gleam. She points you to the man. The handsome one that leads your ragged column. I would speak with him. That is all you can recall. Better? You feeling right there? Yeah, so, you say recruit often. You can be sure that. Sigilo's best source of fodder on the plains. Wheats, milk, and planets, all the prime inhabitants. Too much work. So, any more advice in surviving? Aye, whatever you do, don't talk about the blood war with any fiend. Or any diva. Or Arkham, for that matter. Just don't talk about it, period. Because you never know who in the hells you're really chatting with. None of them get mighty touchy when you bring up the war. The reason for living. Anything else? And don't go through any portals unless you're making sure you know where it goes. Maybe you even hear tales of clueless planewalkers stepping through a portal and ending up smack dab in the middle of the Blood War skirmish. No way, haven't heard of him? Because those are dead. Dead and dead. Anything else? Whatever you did, never sign on for a tour duty. No matter how much jade they flash in your Mac. Surely death and signing on for a tour in the Blood War are the same thing, cutter. Watch that. Just as when you sign up, the PLE's tour duty is still time itself grind to a halt. Even death wouldn't be a release, cause then you think into the lower planes, and get dredged back up as something worse than you were before. And they get the talons on you, for all eternity, you're fucked. How would you get out of your tour contract? Unless they don't want you, you don't have much chance. Have you heard of it being done with mean-spirited recruits? So, but is it really important to keep the talons on? Quitting at Tanari is risky, but can be done. But his are much more dangerous with their contracts. I sign one of those, you're then for life. Might try a little garnish, try and wrap them, and I might let you make a run for it. But where would you go? There are so many else. Dying will be an especially bad thing. You're evil, sure. If you're good, you'd go to another plane to spend your afterlife. You'd still be deader. Now, for me, I still got a lot of evil to wash from my soul, so I died in low planes. They wouldn't have me lock, stock, and barrel. Sounds promising. You go to another plane when you die. Can you explain that? How would you get out of your contract? I think that's enough. Alright. This is the last bit then. Some more year as sensates, so it's one thing to say to you. Don't sign up to see what the pecking blood was about. Don't be a balmy idiot. Use a sensory stone if you got to know, but stay the hell away from anything to do with the blood war for real. It's just not worth it. Tis, for a moment, a look of great pain crosses the man's face. Looks like he's going to weep. Not worth it at all. At the end of the session, so farewell. I see. I think I know where that little lady is. Some questions. Can I go to the... where is it? It's all nice and dandy. Film about the sensorium. Gyms which hold many records for blah blah blah, they hold various sensations. If you're so pleased, we might direct you to one of them. Yes, please do. Number 2, the public sensorium. Anywhere between 10 and 50 commons and the private way of members of society allowed. Take me to the public sensorium then.
Done.
Now, you can imagine why we want to be here, because we are looking for the lady. The lady who we need to deal with. Sadly, however, that will have to actually wait until the next time. Because it's actually getting quite a bit late and I do need to deal with my extra workload. But yeah, it's nice to be back actually, and this game really lets us get timed reasonably well. That guy just moonwalked back and was like, yes, I'm in the camera now, mom, can you see me? Well, but yeah, I do imagine that in time we will finish this one too. It could take a while because this is the kind of game I need to be in the mood for. But well, it happens sometimes, as you can clearly see. For the moment, however, I will have to bid you adieu. Have a good one and all of that, and yeah, I shall be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is of course a Pillars Day, as we all know, very happily. I might be able to play a bit extra because it's basically half day at work, but I will be with the family. It is after all, well, Christmas Eve. We kind of decided to do this year on Christmas Eve instead on one of the holidays after that, so it's a bit different from how we would usually do it, but well, let's just say that there's a lot to do with the times and how it is. No reason to complain about it, honestly. First I will have to survive the actual work day, so it's going to be a pain in the ass, to put it mildly, because it's the well, basically overworked to hell, and I'm going to be alone tomorrow. That's going to be painful. But well, since we can't change that anyway, I'll just have to go through it and get done with it, I guess. No matter what though, let's just, you know. Oh yeah, remember I actually bought you armor, didn't I? I'm a nice person. But yes, as for the rest, let's actually talk about it tomorrow, I think, because tomorrow I will actually be a bit more unburdened, I guess, is a good way of saying it. Excuse me. So yeah, there's that, and yeah, for the moment, I will say, have a good one. Thanks for dropping by. Since we have nobody who's easily nameable, you know, as per usual, just pat yourself on the back. I feel appreciated, because you are. That is a very important fact, I think. And as for anything else, yes, tomorrow it shall be. For the moment, bye bye, it shall be.